Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cyrus Alavi, and I am the founder of New Water. Per year, 10 million tons of plastic waste is produced in the GCC alone. The majority of that ends up in landfills or being incinerated. Now, if you were to go to your local supermarket today, you would find that a plastic bottle on the shelf contains around 3% of recycled content versus a comparable aluminum can, which contains 76% recycled content. 5 grams. Now, why is that important? Per week, each and every one of you from your consumption of water from plastic bottles consumes 5 grams of microplastics. Now, what does that look like? This credit card weighs exactly 5 grams. So you are consuming 1 credit card's worth of plastic from consuming water from plastic bottles. Now, what are the health implications of that? This has been found to lead to various forms of cancer, infertility, and birth defects in newborn children. So we have 2 pillars here. The first, sustainability. The second, the health implications. And we wanted to understand the consumer trends for a product like this. We found that 81% of consumers trialed a product because the packaging caught their eye. 36% of consumers would repeat buy a product because of the aesthetics. And 52% of consumers would change products because of how it looked. So we created water and aluminum can to meet all 3 of these objectives. Our product has a unique resealable lid, allowing the consumer to open and close it as they wish. Aluminum has the highest recycling rate of any beverage container on the market. Cans pack tighter together, which means they have a lower carbon footprint. And within 60 days after recycling, any can will end up back on the supermarket shelf within 60 days. So to push a product like this onto the market, we put together a world-class team that have over 30 years of experience in market-leading companies such as Apple, Red Bull, and Credit Suisse. We've had some incredible celebrity traction. Kevin O'Leary, Shark on ABC's Shark Tank, and Grammy Award-winning artist will.i.am. So it's a proven business model. The market size in the GCC is $20 billion, with a compound annual growth rate of just under 11%. There's a brand in the US with a very similar concept. Water and aluminum cans, after 4 years, have just over $500 million valuation. Some of our highlights and milestones: we have 256 retail locations stocked, distribution in 6 countries, and a very healthy 53% gross profit margin. Now, what does the next year look like for us? So we project that we will do very easily 100 million cans, and by doing that, we'll remove 100 million plastic bottles from the market. Thank you very much. Welcome any questions.
Just the question,
Yes.
You need a factory behind it?
No, so we only use co-packing agreements.
Okay.
We have multiple co-packing agreements just for Fallover. We have one in Germany and one which is owned by Coca-Cola in Lebanon.
Okay. And you're produced there?
Yes,
okay.
both sites, yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Can you talk us through your user retention? So if I'm a consumer of this product, I'm more about the cost. I see you have the 50% gross profit across the kind of the supply chain, but can you go more about the initial
User cost,
bulk order, sales cost, retention of that customer, kind of go through a few of the numbers?
Yeah, so from a wholesale perspective, we try to position ourselves slightly more than plastic bottles. And the reason is consumers and businesses are now understanding that sustainability has a value in the market, and they value that as the additional operational cost versus plastic bottles. From a consumer standpoint, direct to consumer, we are slightly lower price, about $3.95 as a single unit. So we're lower price than your Evians and your Fijis. We don't want to compete with them. We want to be able to, the consumer to really try a new product. It is a new product. It is a new concept. So having that lower price point allows the consumer to pick it up and try it. And what we found is that when consumers try a product like this and they understand why would you even put water into a can, the health implications really is the first one that captures them and they start to move away from it.
And I'm guessing you're entering the food services to kind of set a higher price, because if you went straight into retail, you'd come in at a lower price. So is the strategy to kind of get into some big brands around here in the hospitality sector, and then maybe go into distribution, and then move lastly into supermarkets and retail?
Exactly that, because hospitality, we achieve two things: volume-based sales and, of course, marketing by partnering with incredible hospitality groups. Going into big box retailers, you are constantly crushed on your margins doing gondolas and end caps. So that is something that we feel happens at a later stage. We build the brand first within hospitality and food service, and then we go into the retail section.
Where are you now in the market? Are you in the market?
Yes.
Or? Yeah.
Troithrams, All Day, Almaya, and we just signed with Atlantis.
Atlantis.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
I've tried your product. It's like the branding too.
Oh, thanks.
So Aquafina came out with Expo, did a very similar thing.
Yeah.
And without the open close lid,
Yeah.
but something very similar.
Very similar product, yeah.
And they're a big brand, and of course through that they got a lot of marketing. Leave the product getting out there. People understand that Aquafina's done it.
Exactly.
And a lot of people might consider them to be a market leader, having done it at Expo.
Yeah.
How's competition for you, and what are you doing to stay relevant with all the competition in the market?
So in terms of competition, Aquafina really is our only competition. So for example, like a contract such as Atlantis was put towards Pepsi as well, but when you actually peel back their brand, you see that they're actually not a sustainable company. So our objective is to be a sustainable company from the get-go. It doesn't make sense when you have Aquafina in a can on a shelf talking about sustainability, and right next to it you have Aquafina in a plastic bottle. So the consumer here is a lot more conscious about what brands they support, what brands they actually pick up and buy. What they have done for us in the market is push a message of sustainability and water and aluminium can, because when we started 18 months ago, nobody knew why we were doing it. Now that Pepsi's doing it, they're really taking care of that marketing aspect for us. But we don't necessarily see them as competition, because they're that 1 dirham can of water, which is using desalinated water, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not a sustainable product if you peel back their brand.
Since it's co-packing, I assume there's no IP involved over here, correct?
No, there's no IP. It's the
So
brand.
what stops, I'm just saying, for
Yeah.
example, Masafi or anybody else getting into this game?
Yeah.
Have you put any barriers in order to make it tough for them to enter the market?
For us, our resealable lid is a unique selling factor as well as a brand play. It really is. There isn't, in a direct-to-consumer product like this, there isn't something that we can protect in terms of brand. What we found is that people want to support brands which have a holistic message to it. So if Masafi were to go into it, it would only make sense if they would stop producing their plastic bottle SKU. But they would very unlikely do that, because there's a market for that for them, and that's the majority of their market. So we find that this is a new segment.
Great. Listen, thank you so much, Cyrus.
Thank you.
That was very good. Show your everybody, show your appreciation,
Thank you.
Cyrus. Thank you so much.